No matter the class, no matter the build, 9th level spells are always gonna be a doozy. Hello everyone, and welcome back down here to the Gamer's Den with me, your host, Jordan, your Master of Lore and Storyteller Extraordinaire, where I'm happy to let you know that we are now moving into the 9th level spells for the 1st edition Pathfinder Shaman. And yeah, we've mentioned off and on throughout the videos that the Shaman spell list isn't always the greatest, but it does make up for that in the fact that you have access to different kinds of hexes. Depending on your build and how you allocate your stats, you're not going to be a slouch in combat either. Heck, with some of your spells, you might actually still be able to boost your abilities and still participate effectively in a fight overall. And now that we're into the 9th level spells, you should know that 9th level spells are always going to be really powerful. Some of them just depend a little bit on the situation, the location, what the surroundings are like, what kind of environmental features you have, but in comparison to all the other spells before them, you are going to be overflowing with power. You could even say power overwhelming. But before we get into all of that, if you're new here to the channel, go on down there, hit the subscribe button, and become a regular member here at the Gamer's Den. Or if you've already gone on ahead and listed yourself on such an incredible roster of legendary heroes, then go on down to hit the like button and share the video far and wide. But now let's actually get into things here, and we are going to kick things off with Elemental Swarm. This takes 10 minutes to cast. Select which type of elemental to summon, your choice of air, earth, fire, or water. After casting, 2d4 large elementals appear. 10 minutes after that, 1d4 huge elementals appear. And then 10 minutes after that, so a whole half hour of magic going on, 1 greater elemental appears. They all have max hit points per hit dice. They last for 10 minutes a level and explicitly obey you, never attacking you even if someone else gains control of them. You can dismiss them singly or in groups at a time. What? Holy crap! This spell is amazing. The only downside to it is the casting time, 10 minutes, and then successive chunks of 10 minutes after to get the rest of these elementals. But this is that spell you break out when you've got that big showdown about to happen, when you've got that big fight on your hands with whatever forces of villainy or good you might be going up against. You bring these out and you send them at your opponents. I mean, this is staggeringly good. The only variables to it are how many large and huge elementals are present, but otherwise, max hit points for every hit dice? That's amazing. The fact that they can never attack you and they explicitly obey you, and that this lasts for 10 minutes per level. If you're level 18, that's 180 minutes. That's 3 hours. This is going to last you for several fights, for whatever kinds of endurance, wave after wave kind of style fighting your DM might be throwing at you. This spell will see you through it to the end. Absolutely fantastic. But then going on from there, we have one of the best debuffs possible. That's Energy Drain. Fire a ray of negative energy at a target in 25 feet plus 5 feet for every 2 caster levels, and inflict 2d4 temporary negative levels. 24 hours after the target must make a fortitude save, the DC of which is equal to the spell save DC, for each negative level. If it succeeds, that level is removed. On failure, the negative level is permanent. So 2d4 negative levels, that's pretty devastating. I mean, even if you just roll right down the middle, just 2 on each dice. And what this will do is, for each negative level a creature has, it takes a cumulative -1 penalty on all ability checks, attack rolls, combat maneuver defense, saving throws, and skill checks. On top of that, the creature reduces its current and total hit points by 5 for each negative level it possesses. So the creature is also treated as 1 level lower for the purpose of level dependent variables such as spell casting. So So say you have spells that rely on your spellcaster level. A lot of them do, and they'll affect a number of variables, like the number of damage dice that they're able to do. And then the fact that these can end up becoming permanent and they have to roll and make that fortitude save each and every single time is amazing. Also note that there is no save to resist taking the temporary negative levels. There's only a save a day after they've been hit with this spell. This spell is devastating, utterly ruthless to whoever you might fire this off at. On the flip side of that, though, we have Mass Heal. Where heal is good, Mass Heal is miles better. First off, you get a range of 25 feet plus 5 feet every 2 caster levels, already doing better. Target 1 or more creatures, no 2 of which can be more than 30 feet apart, plenty of room and range to work with there. This works like heal, and it restores up to 250 hit points. So you're removing all the debuffs that heal can take off, and you're healing even more hit points. You're doing this for multiple targets and at a range where you can keep yourself comfortably safe and away from harm, overall, generally. So you can already see why that's a big deal and a massive upgrade. And lastly, we have a pretty big spell here. We have Winds of Vengeance. For 1 minute a level, you are surrounded by tornado force winds, granting a 60-foot fly speed with perfect maneuverability, and neither your armor or carried load affect this. The winds shield you from other wind effects and create a breathable shell of air around you, allowing this to work underwater and in the vacuum of space. Ranged weapons are deflected by the winds, including thrown boulders by giants, while gases and most gaseous breath weapons cannot pass through it. So Black Dragon breathes poisonous gas all over you. This will blow it away, and it will harmlessly pass around you. When attacked in melee, your winds can be used to strike the creature as an immediate action, the attacking creature that is, and forcing a fortitude save. On failure, they are knocked prone and take 5d8 bludgeoning damage. If flying, huge creatures are checked, meaning they have to make a fly check, and large-sized or smaller flying creatures are blown away instead of being knocked prone. On a successful save, the damage is reduced by half and the target is not knocked prone. That part applies if you're on the ground. So this is maneuverability, this is defense, this is also a bit of counter offense. This is an incredible spell. I mean, this will let you go anywhere, everywhere you want to. You can start dealing damage as an immediate action, just as a reaction to any melee attackers, and you're practically immune to just about every single physical projectile, and also wind effects too. I mean, and because this is tornado force winds, spells like any gaseous cloud spells like stinking cloud and things like that, those will not affect you. I mean, this is a great spell for you to have access to. Absolutely great. Definitely recommend you make regular use of this one should you reach the point where you can use 9th level spells, or if you're starting off in an epic level campaign. Now there's plenty more actually not plenty more. The 9th level spell lists are always the smallest spell lists, but there's still lots of neat options there. I mean, you have Summon Nature's Ally 9 that is going to get you a whole host of incredible creatures to throw out there. You also have other spells that just rip away the living life energies of creatures. Can't remember what it's called right off the top of my head. Wish I had left that screen open on my computer here, but you roll a number of dice, and that's the number of hit dice you're able to just rip away from the target. I believe targets over 17 or 18 hit dice are not affected by it, but anything else is just going to have their life just stripped away from them. It's absolutely terrifying what you have access to, and the only spell that I can really think of off the top of my head that isn't the most effective, only because it's situational, is it's another 9th level spell, you basically create a giant tsunami. The big limiting factor is that you have to be near or on a body of water in order to have effective use of that. But what do you think? Go on down to the comments below and let me know your thoughts. Did you like today's video? Did you dislike it? We are nearing towards the end. We just have gear to go over and some thoughts for the aftermath of everything here. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. What other spells do you think are just absolutely great? I mean, you don't have bad options at 9th level, you just have varying degrees of good options. The only thing that makes a particular spell at this level bad is what you're not using instead. So, with that in mind, if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and go on down to the, hit the subscribe button, and thank you all so very much for your time, and you all have yourselves a good night.